Hello. The title of this podcast is, Huh, Sounds Like Blame. Most recently, I reminded a friend of mine about something to say to me whenever I lose consciousness and want to go back to Keith 1.0. I've really working on making my practice to be present and to be kind and to be thoughtful. And every once in a while, something will happen in which I'll lose consciousness for a second. And it normally happens when something doesn't meet my expectations. I started recognizing this many years ago when I first started doing the practice, is have this tendency to come into, it's a default setting, but when I come into a space, I'm scanning for what needs to be improved upon or what isn't right. And when it comes to people, if something doesn't meet my expectations, I'm looking to someone to affix blame to. And it could be simple things, but I'm looking for someone to fix blame to. And then I get to have a reasonable explanation why something didn't meet my expectation. So most recently, a good friend was helping me sell something on one of the applications on mobile devices. And they did all the work. I mean, they took pictures of the equipment that I was selling, the fitness equipment. They posted it for me. They were doing like amazing, like a service for me to help me. And the day of the other party coming to pick it up, they didn't come. And my friend was, really, I guess apologetic about them not coming. And so when they didn't arrive at a certain time, my response was, well, did you follow up with them to find out if they were coming today? And it was a way of me blaming them for something that was completely out of their control. And she had forgotten that I gave her something to say when that reaction happens, because I try to be mindful of it, and I've done well. But every once in a while, I'll lose consciousness and it happens. And the thing that I gave her to say to me is, that sounds like blame. And it's something about it that is not threatening to my ego to where I come back and be defensive or try to explain it away. So I encourage those out there who are like me that expect perfection of themselves and expect other people to be perfect too, to consider that this may be a good tool for you to use too. It could be something that happens in the workplace that doesn't meet your expectations that you've outlined. And sometimes those expectations may have been communicated before, or perhaps they haven't been communicated at all. And in those cases in which that has been the case, whether it's been communicated, not been communicated, doesn't matter. That's outside of your control. To some extent. What's within your control is how you respond when something doesn't meet your expectations. And so if you are in the workplace, for example, and something doesn't go the way that you had planned or the way that you thought it planned, and somebody else did something that was different than what you wanted, that's still an opportunity to take space before you react and confront this person or try to have a conversation with them. From a place of reactivity, from that going sideways, there's a space there. And in that space, say to yourself, I'm going into this without blaming. And then if you're like me, that you tell people, if you make the error of blaming, down the road when you come back to apologize, and you apologize without reasons or trying to explain your behavior, but when you come back to apologize, you may share this little tip with them. Like, listen, if I do that again, because I'm working to improve in this area so that I can become 2.0 more consistently. If I do that, then please do me a favor. And the favor is just say, it sounds like blame. And I think you'll have the same effect that it has on me, which is it will lighten the mood. It will lighten you so that you can get back to, so you can create a little space to recognize that you are not behaving the way that is part of your higher self. you're behaving from a default setting. So I found this to be incredibly useful. And let's say that you go down this road and you are still trying to explain away. Well, listen, they've got to learn. Well, if they got to learn, there's a way to communicate that is without passing blame. And if they continue, the other person continues to do the same thing, then you can talk to other people, that may be in charge of providing oversight for that person who can also be helpful. But again, your path is to not blame. Think about all the times that someone may have blamed you. Was that helpful? Did that help you learn? Did that make you open? It didn't. So why would you have the expectation that it would do the same with other people? If you're like me, I don't like to be preached to. I like to be asked for permission to share something with me. What that does, it relaxes my defenses so that I can be open to growing, to learning from whatever it is that I did that wasn't aligned with what I'm trying to accomplish. So again, think about this one thing. If you are a type A personality and when things don't go your way, you have a tendency to blame others or blame life situations. Just help share with somebody, here's something that will help me. Huh, that sounds like blame. And so just to close the loop on this little story, when I reminded my friend of that, it was followed with an apology and we both laughed. And what has happened subsequently is that I catch myself often now that even if it comes out of my mouth, I'll say, "Ooh, I'm sorry, that was blame," and it gets me closer and closer to eliminating that part of me that is not aligned with who I want to be or how I want to show up. Again, it's not about perfection. It's about just growing. It's about increasing my emotional intelligence. It's about not being trapped in that way of thinking that creates separation between me and other people, and that also makes me superior to other people, like I'm perfect, which I'm not. And so encourage people to help you grow. And this is one of the ways that has helped me grow. Huh, sounds like blame.